Hello and welcome to another edition of On the Road with Legal Talk Network. This is Erica Bristol. I am an advisor to the CLA Intellectual Property Law section. I'm the host for today's episode, which is being recorded on location at the 2019 California Lawyers Association annual meeting in lovely Monterey, California. Joining me now, I have the chair of the Intellectual Property Law section, Heather Antoine. Welcome, Heather.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. It's beautiful weather up here, isn't it?
It is amazing weather. I'm glad we're starting with the weather, the easy questions.
I'm glad we're here as opposed to unfortunate Southern California where there are fires happening. But
yes.
Hopefully everyone's safe and healthy down there. Before we get to our topics, Heather, we want to know a little more about you. Get to know who the chair is of this section. Can you tell us a little about you?
Sure. My name is Heather Antoine, as you mentioned. I am a partner at Stubbs Alderton and Markiles. I am the chair of the trademark practice and the co-chair of the privacy and data security practice. A little bit of a mouthful there. And as you mentioned, as of Monday, I will be the chair of the IP section for the California Lawyers Association. And I've been involved in the section for about 6 or 7 years now and really, really looking forward to becoming chair and serving.
Right, and we've worked with you, and so you've come up through the section and you represent the section so well, and we really appreciate you in your leadership role and taking the section to new heights in 2020, so we appreciate having you.
Thanks.
So is there anything a little personal, anything you like to do, a little personal interest so we can get to know you a little better?
I, like everyone says, I love to travel. I've been to 29 countries.
Wow.
Most recently, last month, I went to Armenia and Austria.
Oh, wow.
So that was a really fun little vacation. And I also collect scotch. In case anyone listening wants recommendations, feel free to email me about that as well.
Now, when you were in Austria, this is a little stereotypical, but did you see any cows with little bells going through a town, or is that completely stereotypical?
Well, I was in Vienna, so there were no... There were no cows running through Vienna. However, actually, in the outskirts of Yerevan in Armenia, there were tons of cows and sheep and shepherds, and saw lots of running around of wildlife there.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get on to the more substantive part of our blog talk, which is the section. We have so much continuing legal education to help members in their practice and to improve and benefit their clients. Can you discuss some of the things that the IP law section is doing in terms of continuing education and maybe some of the other events and things that we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of continuing education that we provide. We think it's one of our main goals and missions is to provide really great education, and that's, accessible in so many different formats. So at a base level, we have webinars, and those are regularly put on throughout the month. Some of the upcoming webinars that we have are what's hot in European trademark law. That's on next week, I believe, October 17th. We're going to talk about Singapore Convention and the enforcement of settlement agreements. The following week, there is a webinar on October 25th about PTAB trial practice and how it could affect IPR practice. I'm personally not a patent attorney, but for all the patent attorneys out there, I think it makes up a good chunk of our section. So we like to put on a lot of MCLE that involves them. We have a webinar coming up on pitfalls and loss of priority rights for patents in Europe as well. So that's on the webinar front. We do a lot of that work, and we try to keep people as up to date with any new developments in IP and anything of that sort. We also have our events, our in-person events. The only event that we have left for the year is our flagship event. It's the IP Institute. It's a 3-day, 2 official days of CLE and our welcome reception and some tips and tricks type for nuts and bolts, I think, sessions is what we titled it on Thursday. And this year it's going to be November 14th through the 16th in Las Vegas. It's the first time the CLA or the State Bar ever has had a conference in Las Vegas. So it's really exciting for us. And, part of the reason we moved it to Las Vegas for this year is more than just the fact that it's going to be fun, but it's recognition that the practice of IP is national and international. And while we're California attorneys and we love California and practicing here, we have very diverse practices. And so we have ventured out, and the theme of the year is IP without borders. So we're really going to be tackling a lot of those issues. And it's going to be a great program in case anyone wants to join us. I will be there. Erica will be there.
Absolutely.
And then, next year we're already lining up for some great in-person events. We have the return of our entertainment conference, and Copyright Office comes to California. So 2 great live person programs there for additional MCLE. And finally, if you're not interested in MCLE but just want to come hang out with us, we have a fall mix and mingle mixer, and that is on
October 24th, I believe.
Thank you, Erica. Yes. October 24th for the rescue. And we will have that in 5 different places across the state of California. You can find it and more information on that on any of our social media.
Absolutely. And law students are invited to attend. Networking is a very important part of a lawyer's full career, in making sure that not only do you have a good practice, but you have good people to contact and work with and network in case you're changing a career. So coming to the networking mixer is very important, and we encourage you to come out.
Yeah.
What could you talk a little bit about the interest groups? I think that's one area that we don't discuss a lot, and we'd like to have our listeners hear more about the interest groups and how they can get involved and what the benefit is.
Absolutely. So we have now 12 interest groups at the IP, as part of the IP section, that cover a broad range of categories. The obvious ones, trademark, copyright, patent, licensing. And then we have some less obvious ones. So legislation, we have in-house counsel, and most recently, we have a new interest group that was launched just a few months ago, the Cannabis Law IPIG. It is being spearheaded by Elizabeth Rest and David Branfman, and it's really, really forward-thinking and tackling a lot of the ways that cannabis and IP law intersect. There's definitely, the cannabis industry is huge and growing, and it's not going to stop. And they need brand protection as much as any other company in any other industry. So it's really a fascinating time to be in that space.
Right. As well as the patent issues and trade secret issues involved in cannabis as well.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Cannabis intersects with almost everything. In the same way you reminded me, we have an entertainment and sports IG as well, which also intersects with a lot of those various worlds.
Right. And we also have publications. Well, before we talk about publications, let me go back to the interest groups. They have, I think, monthly calls where the topics of the day are discussed, where there's presentations. So they really provide members with a cutting-edge, up-to-the-minute update on issues, correct? So it's a really beneficial thing for members to join in. If a case is released, they'll talk about the case on the next call, and sometimes even have the attorneys on the case on the next call, correct?
Yeah, they have a lot of really amazing speakers come in and serve on those calls. I know the Technology, Internet, and Privacy Group has really robust. That's another IG I missed. Right. I forgot to mention that one earlier, but they have really robust discussions. They have a lot of really wonderful speakers. They're generally at noon. Almost all the IGs have them at noon, so people can attend during their lunch break. Licensing has a really great regular programming that they put on, and the IGs are a fantastic way to get involved in the section. It's how I got involved. I started as the programming chair for Technology, Internet, and Privacy, and then kind of worked my way up. And you get to first be involved and learn about the section and see how everything works. And we love having people get involved with IGs.
And that's actually how I got involved with the section.
Oh.
I was in-house counsel, and I listened to the calls on my way into work. And then because I was a new IP practitioner, and so at the end of the call, if you had questions, practice questions or tips, you could ask, how drafting, people would answer it on the phone. It was so helpful for me as a practitioner. So I'd really encourage listeners to join one of these interest groups, listen to the calls. You learn. They have practice tips about drafting, really up to them, and they're very sensitive to the caller needs and asking questions where you don't need to feel embarrassed about asking a practice question.
Yeah.
So finally, let's move on to our publications. I think our most valuable publication, would you talk to us about that and what members like about it?
Sure. We have a quarterly publication called New Matter. It is a hardcover, but also available online. At least the last 4 years, I believe, are available online if you're an IP section member. And if you're an IP section member, you also get the hardcover, and it comes out quarterly, as I mentioned. It's wonderful, wonderful content. A lot of effort and a lot of research is put in, and I find it so valuable. I often, at my firm, will have people leave their copies of an article on my desk with "this one was really good," and we pass it around the office. I think it's absolutely amazing. That's our main publication. We also have a monthly publication called Inevitable Disclosures. And that's online. It's sent out via email. I believe it's monthly. It may be twice a month.
Twice a month. I think it's the 15th and the last day of the month.
Yes, so twice a month. It's a good thing Erica's here. and that one, it provides really great up-to-date updates. It tells you more about what we're doing every day, what webinars are coming up, what events we have. And it's fantastic as well. Really, really, I would give it a look every time it comes in. And, while it's not a publication, what's really fun is that we've added a podcast that David Lizabram is hosting, and it is called Intangible Assets. We've had one episode so far. He interviewed Emily Yu, who is our incoming secretary and in-house counsel, and it was a great interview, and I think it's going to be a wonderful podcast. So I'm really excited to listen.
And in our actual New Matter, there is the self-guided CE.
Yes.
And every single publication, right?
Yes.
So that you can get MCLE by doing the self-test.
For free.
And we really want our members to know that you can get MCLE by reading the article and sending it in. It's a quick and easy way to satisfy. We also have Lexology.
We have Lexology that goes out and is a summary of news that we find is either related to IP or IP content. So that goes out to all of our members. And also, if you're a section member, you have access to FastCase, which is a legal research tool. It's absolutely free, and it's really just, I think, probably one of the best benefits in addition to everything else that we've mentioned here. I feel like we're doing an advertisement for the IP section, but yeah, it's great.
And to wrap up, can we talk about how our members can get involved? What are the different ways they can get involved with the section?
Sure. So, one, you can attend an event and come find any of us. Come find Erica. Actually, Erica is the one who brought me into the section.
That's right.
Yes, you can come find me. Anyone, usually the executive committee members are out and about trying to meet people. So come find us and tell us you're interested in getting involved. And we generally start you off pretty light. We'll say, hey, help us plan a webinar. And then from there, you can move, you join an IG. You can be a programming chair, vice chair, kind of the way up the ladder is generally through the IGs. And then we love it if people become executive committee members. Anything you can do to be involved, we're happy to have you.
Absolutely. Well, Heather, this has been a thrilling interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think this is one of the few times we've actually been able to tell all of our members all the benefits that we have on air in a podcast. So this is like a first for us, right?
It's
exciting.
Yes.
We're going to have to do this again. We'll take it over. We'll do some other interesting interviews.
We'll go on the road.
But thank you so much. And looks like we've reached the end of our road for our episode. So I want to thank Heather so much for taking time out of her extremely busy day to join us. Thank you, Heather, so much. If our listeners have questions or wish to follow up, how can they reach you?
You can reach me by email at hantoine@stubbsalderton.com. I'm also on Twitter at IPFixer.
Oh, wonderful. And also, thank you to our listeners for tuning in. If you like what you heard, and how could you not, right? Please rate and review us in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app. I'm Erica Bristol. Until next time, thank you for listening, and thank you again, Heather.
Thank you for having me.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.